So where we left off was this idea that to allocate resources, we need some sort of system of doing that. And one way of doing that was through what we call the price mechanism. This idea that suppose the demand for a product was to rise, then that would create shortages, which would drive up prices. As prices increased, that would create potential for firms to make more profit, and as a result, they'd want to supply more. So what we now need to do is to look in much more detail about how that works. So we need to understand demand and supply. So let's have a think about demand. So what do we mean? What do we mean by demand? So demand. What it isn't. It's not. Demand. It isn't just wants. So if you make your Christmas present list, and I make my Christmas present list, and so on, that's not demand. That's what we would like. I'd like a Ferrari. I'd like all sorts of things. But I'm not actually demanding them. So demand has a precise meaning in economics. When we talk about demand, then what we mean by demand is we mean the desire for a product is the first thing. So you've got to want it, and that desire has to be supported by or backed up by the ability and willingness to pay. And what we call that, when it's backed up by the ability and willingness to pay, what we call that, that's what's known as effective demand. Who's doing this demand? In economics, we talk about the relevant people who are involved in decision taking. We talk about these people as being economic agents. And all we mean by an agent, really, is what we sometimes call a rational maximizer. So economists assume, that what people and businesses and governments are trying to do, what they're trying to do is to maximize their own benefit. An agent is anybody who attempts to do this. So agents include households, consumers, people like you and me. What they want to do is to maximize what's called their own utility. And all I mean by utility is kind of satisfaction gained from doing something. So you might gain satisfaction from consuming, you might gain satisfaction from sitting quietly, you might gain satisfaction from being asleep in bed. They're all providing you with utility. So that's satisfaction gained. Firms, we assume that what they want to do, businesses, what they want to do is they want to maximise profits. They want to make as much profit as they can. Workers, what we assume is that they want to maximise the combination of pay and benefit. So when I do a job, there's the intrinsic enjoyment of the job, and there's how much money I'm getting. And what I want to do is to create the best mix between those two. So the people who are doing demand are economic agents. In this case, the relevant agents are households. Finally, for this very first one, what is it? What sort of things are going to affect the demand? So obvious things that are going to affect demand are the utility that something gives, how much satisfaction it gives you. That's got to be important. I'm sure that in reality you could think of loads of things that are going to affect demand. Obvious things that affect whether or not you're going to buy something are its price. If things are too expensive, you're not going to want to buy them. But price is related to your income. Price doesn't matter so much if your income's high. When you're considering buying something, the prices of other goods. So the prices of linked products. These might be alternatives, like substitutes. So if the price of Ford cars goes down, then you may be more likely to buy them instead of buying a BMW or something. Or the price of complements. The price of linked products. So if the price of iPhones go down, you may be more likely to buy AirPods, something along those lines. Obviously, your level of information. that can be advertised. That can be impacted by things like advertising and so on. And really, many more. You might say that today the weather's not really good, so the demand for umbrellas will be affected, and so on and so forth. So there are many different factors that affect demand, but the one that we're going to focus on initially is price, the relationship between demand and price, and that's not because price is the most important. The reason we're going to focus on price is that it's price that we want to understand. We want to understand how price changes allocate resources. We said that it's changes in prices that create incentives for economic actors, economic agents, to change their behaviour, for suppliers to produce more or less and so on. So it's not necessarily that price is the biggest factor affecting demand. It might be for some things, but for many things it won't be. It's that's the thing that we're trying to understand, the relationship between demand and price. And that's what I'll go on to in a minute. What do we know? What do we know so far? So demand, it's undertaken, it's done by households, and households are rational economic agents. And the goal of any rational economic agent is to maximise their own benefit. In this case for households, what they want to do is to maximise their utility. By demand, we don't just mean I'd like something, economists mean effective demand. And effective demand is the desire for a product, you've got to want it, but also backed up by the ability and willingness to pay for it.